Welcome to Twin City Talk. Today we're talking to Suzy Fielders. Suzy, thanks for being here with us every time.
When did you get here?
Yeah, just a few minutes ago.
So,
where do we even start on this?
yeah, where do we? Because you're usually the kicker offer.
Now you guys get to kick it off.
So, we'll start with where we are. Tell us about your idea to do a podcast called Twin City Talk.
So I'm a writer, and I interview people, obviously, for a living, basically. And when I was talking with a friend, he actually gave me the idea. He was like, this could be a great podcast. I bet you hear great things when you talk to these people. I was like, yeah, there's so much content I don't ever get to use in my articles that I love, but, word counts. Mm-hmm. And so that was the initial idea. And then I started looking around, and then I came on Brooks' podcast for Forsyth Mags, and that's when I got reintroduced to Tim.
Which we knew each other from Liz May.
We all know each other from Liz.
Yeah.
Hey, Liz, in case you're watching.
She does.
Hi. Yeah. And from there, you had mentioned on that you were thinking of doing a podcast. And if you saw my episode, I'm like, why? Not why are you going to do a podcast, but why are you going to do it? Let a producer do it.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Yep. And then Burgess came on to help co-host.
Yeah, he was our first guest.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really fun. The podcast, but also the concept. I remember when you first asked me about it, I thought, my gosh, I don't have time for that. It sounds great, but I just don't have time for it. The more I thought about it, the more you would, describe your idea. I thought, these are all things I love. We're going to sit here and talk to people who love so many of the same things we love. This is going to be cool and a lot of fun. Yeah. And of course, you and I have gotten to know each other over the years, and I thought I'd be crazy not to.
Winston has a lot of great people, and they have a lot of great stories.
So are you from here originally?
Yeah. I grew up on the north side of town.
Okay. Which, North Davis? North Forsyth?
Yeah.
So what are they, the Vikings?
Vikings, yeah.
Look at you calling that.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I live on the opposite side now, but yeah.
Were you on the south end now?
South end, yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
I've always been there. I still live on the same property that I moved here almost 40 years ago.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah. Different part of the property, and my parents sold their part. But I've been on the same piece of property 39 years.
That's pretty cool.
That's very cool. Oh. Yeah.
So here we are, and we did start the podcast. Mm-hmm. This is the 25th episode.
Is that right?
25th,
yeah.
Jeez.
It goes by fast.
It does.
Yeah. So with that, what are some of your favorite moments that we've had on this podcast?
I really like talking to Anna from Special Moments. She's just like one of the most inspiring people I know, and I just love hearing her story.
That was a great story, yeah.
And Mary is always amazing to talk to.
When Mary walked out of here, I think all three of us felt the aura still with us, even once she left.
Yeah, she's very special.
Yes.
Yeah. She's also super inspiring.
And I like when we interview some more informative people like Chief Mayo. He has such great information that people really need to hear.
Yeah, because we like to entertain, but sometimes it needs to be, some things just need to be said. That's why we call it infotainment.
Yeah, that's
because
cool.
we can give you stuff while still making you smile, we hope.
Yeah.
So how long have you been a writer?
Since probably around 2011, I think. Yeah.
What did you do before that?
Well, what I still do now, marketing, yeah. But I always loved writing. I mean, I like marketing, but writing's more my passion than marketing.
Okay.
Favorite things to write about? When you're not writing the interviews, if you could choose to write anything, what would you pick?
I find that my personal stories tend to be the easiest to come out, and those also usually go over well. Like I did a 3-part series on my birth story, and I told about the births of each of my daughter, and it's fun to write about that kind of stuff. And it inspires or helps other people too. I like that.
So you have 3 girls.
Yes.
And what are their ages?
So the oldest is 18. The middle one is going to be 2 in June, and the youngest will be, or 3 in June, and then the youngest will be 2 in May. They're Irish twins.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with the writing thing, what are some of the, this is a recurring theme on here, but some of the things that you've written about that you are most proud of?
That's a tough question. I wrote an article about overcoming grief because I lost my mother a couple years ago, and
another one of your
personal
stories that are easier to tell, probably.
Yeah. And actually, the first time I met Burgess, that article was still one of my most memorable. Is on 4 artists. So Burgess was for the acting, Liz was for music, Dane was actual like physical art, and then Kathy Lee was the dance side of it. And it was just really cool to hear from these different mediums, but there was always like correlations, a lot of the same themes.
I heard a lot of people comment on that, by the way.
Yeah.
A lot of people said to me, this is an exceptionally well-written article. I don't know if I ever told you that.
No, but that's good.
You should have. And now we're doing it this way.
Yeah. So, and that was back in like 2014, I think. So that one always stuck with me.
When did you lose your mom?
In May will be 2 years ago.
Okay.
And so so my mom passed away on May 29th. My youngest daughter was born on May 30th. So in like the 24-hour span, I lost someone and gave birth to someone.
Well, they say that, not one leaves and one comes.
Yeah.
It's just cyclical that way.
Yeah,
That
a lot
is
of
a
people say
college
that
word,
they
by
think
the
they
way.
share a special connection because of that.
Yeah. So what do you do when you're not raising children, planning this podcast, doing marketing for me and others?
Trying to sleep.
Yeah.
Get in some sleep there.
I know that feeling.
So what are your hobbies? What are you interested in? Tell us about Suzy.
I like movies. I like watching movies. Usually comedies because life's already hard. So I like things that make me laugh. I do not like horror movies. That's the only genre that I don't like.
Starting out as a young actor, I would consume everything. I would consume any movie, any TV show, and I'm out in LA and I'm training, and everybody's like, I gotta watch the latest Sundance, this and that, and it's all this gritty and dark and obscure stuff. And then you get older, and you have family, you've got child that's growing up, the things that you try to protect your daughter from in this world. And I come home and I'm like, give me any popcorn, any light, fun fare.
Yeah.
I'll still have tons of people go, oh, did you catch this latest? I'm like, no, it's super dark and twisted, and I'm out. It's great work. It's amazing acting. Like, great. And then send me your favorite scene. I'll watch that.
I love horror films. I just don't like watching them. What I mean by that is, growing up, I would watch everything, right? And then now, like you said, the world is dark and twisted enough without the fantasy aspect of it embellishing that. And I find that I get an anxiety about, I'm going to actually watch something happen that's going to be bad. And why? Why am I putting myself through that? But then again, I feel bad because I've not watched something because I like that. But so I struggle with it. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I'm at peace with it now.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah. Plus, I have a psychology degree, so then when I watch this stuff, I overanalyze. I'm like, well, this is just.
Have we talked about that? That's what my degree's in. Yeah.
And my wife's too.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
She bachelor's in psychology and a master's in counseling. Uses it not at all.
Yeah.
I mean, she does because you do.
Yeah.
Psychology and marketing is psychology.
It is. Yeah.
So that's what she does, and that's what you do. So, what about music? What do you like?
I like pretty much all music. I don't like country. I'm more of I can tell you what I don't like, and then everything else I'm good with. But yeah, I don't like country.
Okay, so
music.
what's on your playlist right now? What's the last thing you listened to?
I don't remember. remember. Usually it's more on the background and I'm listening to like screaming children, you know? So, I don't know. I like everything. I like reggae music a lot because I feel like it's calming.
Okay.
So
I know this is about you, but what about you, Burgess? What's your favorite music?
Oof. I do like everything. I really do. And with a 17, almost 18-year-old, you start to become aware of all the latest stuff. So, I've got Jungle just cranked upstairs, and I had no idea who that even was.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, this is really good. Who is this? She's like, oh, it's Jungle. Got it. Yeah. Right. It's awesome. I don't, but I do. I've gotten into just about everything. I was listening to Revivalists on the way over here. Yeah. It's just, Nicotine Dolls.
I don't know that I've heard of them.
Ooh, listen to some Nicotine Dolls. I had a friend introduce me to them, and they cover some interesting. They do Tina Turner's The Simply the Best? Is that yeah? That's lights out. It's so good. Anyway, that guy's got a hauntingly cool voice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
is yours rock? Is that your favorite?
Well, actually, what's funny is I am the host of one, produce 2 shows about hard rock stuff, and I was in a hard rock band. But my favorite genre of music is 80s pop. My favorite song of all time is Sledgehammer from Peter Gabriel. My favorite album of all time is So, the album that Sledgehammer came from. It's just
that's not a bad choice. All of that is excellent.
Yeah, Peter Gabriel, I did not like him in Genesis, but I like Genesis without Peter Gabriel. And I like Phil Collins by himself, so all that goes there. But my favorite band is Kiss, which is hard rock. My second favorite band is the Beatles. Third favorite
That's
is
very dichotomous. Okay.
Yeah, the third.
Right.
Well, Kiss always said they wanted to be heavy metal Beatles. That's what they wanted to do. Third favorite band is Queensryche, another hard rock. And then I
listened to a lot of Queensryche back in the 80s.
Yeah, oh yeah. So I remember now is the Queensryche podcast.
Yeah.
And then the Police with Sting. I like Sting's solo stuff. I kind of equate them there because it was just a continuation. You get some of the ska reggae feel with their early stuff, and then after that it just starts. Everything just started. I have my top 4, and then it's maybe Peter Gabriel because all his stuff, at least up to Us, the album Us. I'm really into all that stuff. So I like experimental stuff. Being a bass player, he incorporated Tony Levin in a lot of stuff, and Tony Levin is one of them. I call him our Lord and Savior, Tony Levin. But it's just, I just love all that.
Yeah, you're one of the few people that I think I can sit around and say, okay, favorite Poison song, Warrant song, whatever, and you've got actual favorites, because I bring that stuff up to other people in the same age, and they're like, didn't at all.
I opened for Warrant.
Did you really?
And Quiet Riot.
See, there you go. That's super cool.
Yeah, that was fun.
Nice.
You're not a sports fan at all, I take it?
I like sports.
Is it college?
Yeah, so I went to school in South Carolina, and when you move to South Carolina, you have to choose Gamecocks or Clemson. So I'm a Gamecocks fan.
Okay.
Where'd you go to school?
I went to Coker. It's
Okay.
in Hartsville. It's a pretty smaller school. And then I actually went to USC for a year of graduate school. But then I got pregnant with my oldest daughter, and I moved back home because I had family here. So.
Okay.
And then I ended up going to UNCG to finish my master's.
Did you watch the Super Bowl?
No.
Not
didn't
even a
miss anything.
halftime?
Or you really wanted to miss the halftime show. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah,
The game was terrible.
I don't know. It's too commercialized.
Actually, I liked it because I didn't want the Chiefs to three-peat. So
I kind of didn't either, actually. I like a lot of those players, but I was like, I'm kind of tired of this dynasty.
tired of seeing Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, and Travis Kelce in everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I like in-person sports. Like, I love how, you can go to the Dash here, the Winston-Salem Open. Like, I like watching sports live versus just on television.
Yeah.
Well, not to go off on sports or take this away from, this being your podcast, but the FSU Wake game, we went to that last night live, and it was such an incredible game. Wake was just dismantling FSU. And then in the last, 3 or 4 minutes, FSU made this crazy comeback, and they won, and they beat Wake at the last. And Wake's like, I don't know if you guys know, but they're making a hard charge towards the tournament. They got a really good shot of being in, in the Madness tournament. And so I don't know, that could have hurt their chances.
Yeah. What else? What else about Suzy do we need to know?
What's something we don't know about you?
Yeah, tell us some juicy stuff.
Probably a lot.
Juicy being relative, just something we don't know.
How about I tell you my most embarrassing story?
Yeah.
Wow. All right. I
Here
don't
we
know if you're
go.
going to dig that out of me.
So when I was 17, I went to San Diego with my dad, which I love San Diego, by the way. But we went down to La Jolla Park. I don't know if you probably know it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've never been to the West Coast.
There's
here.
cliffs, and then there's like a little bit of beach. But anyway, so I'm walking around with my dad, and again, I'm a 17-year-old girl, and this guy comes running by naked. And I'm just like,
Sounds like San Diego.
what am I supposed to do with this? So I'm sure I was, turning red because I was embarrassed. And then my dad was like, well, that's probably going to hurt. That's all I said about it. Thanks for sharing that. So yeah, that was probably my most embarrassing moment.
Was that the first time you'd seen a naked man?
No, I mean, I've seen TV, but I was with my dad.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, your dad.
So it was just
It's
embarrassing.
like my wife tells me the story of watching Saturday Night Live with her mother when the salty chocolate ball or whatever the thing that Alec Baldwin was doing, and she wanted to laugh but couldn't because she didn't want her mom to, and her mom was aloof to the whole thing. So it was just, she said that was awkward as all get out.
I bet it was.
That and then the Dusty Muffins thing, the same skit but different. It was Betty White and her Dusty Muffins,
Right.
and the other one was the salty balls or whatever it was that Alec Baldwin was.
Sweaty balls?
Sweaty balls. That's right. Yeah.
balls.
Yeah.
I love innuendo.
I could definitely see that about you.
So, where do people find you?
On Instagram is probably the best place. Suzy Fielders.
Probably soon you could be found as part of the such and such medianc.com website too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's some cool stuff coming there.
Yeah, absolutely. Things that we will definitely touch back on when the time is right to unveil it to the world.
One question we have to ask.
What's that?
What do you love about Winston-Salem?
Yeah.
Probably the people, and I don't know, really just everything. I've traveled a lot, and Winston's definitely special, not just because I live here, but there's definitely like a aura around Winston that I think it's the people and, the culture and the history, and there's modern. I mean, it's everything.
I think anybody who comes here and spends any time here has this similar kind of, we've noticed that with the people that we interview. But there's really something that I love about the people who grew up here. I never hear anybody say that, they didn't have a good experience and that their heart isn't in some way attached to Winston. I mean, I'm sure there are exceptions, but most of the people that I talk to, and when we were kids, maybe I can't wait to get out of here. I want to experience. Well, I think most people do that no matter where they're from, and they want to go experience something else.
Well, when we were kids, it wasn't this cool.
Well, there is that.
There wasn't as much to do, for
But
sure.
even then, though, I grew up here as a kid, and I loved growing up here. I thought it was great. Maybe it was just sort of the family atmosphere. It was really conducive. It was very, I don't know, Norman Rockwell to me. It had that kind of connection for me. But I find a lot of people that just they really get connected to the heartbeat of it really quickly. And and the history and the charm and that kind of stuff. So I always love that you ask everybody that question.
Yeah. Oh, we didn't ask Tim on yours.
I love Winston because it is everything I need it to be. It's the people, it's the food, it's just I feel good about being here.
Right.
So
see, and that's it. You feel good about being here.
I do.
Yeah. That's one of those intangibles I think everybody gets from it. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Thank you for creating this, by the way.
Thank you guys for being part of
Been
it.
a ton of fun. Already.
Yeah.
25 episodes in. That's nuts.
It's crazy.
Absolutely. Well, you can find us at twincitytalk.com and on social media at Twin City Talk.
Thank you, guys. The views and opinions portrayed by guests on this podcast are not necessarily those of the distributors and hosting companies. And if you love this podcast, that's great, but don't think about stealing it. Reach out to us and talk about the content because it is copyrighted.